Welcome to Quick Takes with Kevin, a weekly podcast about leadership, life, and ministry with Kevin Ezel, president of the North American Mission Board. Each week, Kevin will be focusing on how pastors can keep their souls healthy in the midst of the demands and challenges of everyday life. Now, here's your host, Kevin Ezel.
Hey, Kevin Ezel from the North American Mission Board with the pastor of Family Church in West Palm Beach, Jimmy Scroggins, and been a friend of mine for well over 20 years. And so, hey, Jimmy, in chapter 12 of Lance Witt's book, Replenish, it talks about pit stops required.
Yeah.
How do you replenish, and the effective leader...
Kind of makes you think you had to go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the older you get, the more pit stops required.
Right.
But, the best leaders tend to advance and then retreat. Advance and then retreat.
Mm-hmm.
What are those things you've learned through the years to help you advance and then especially retreat?
Well, one of the things, Kevin, like you, I have a big family, a lot of children, and a job that you put a lot into. I work really hard trying to do a good job. So I think being able to take vacations is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And vacations doesn't have to be something expensive, so I don't want anybody's mind to go crazy on what that means. I just mean some time where I'm not working. And when I'm not working, being disciplined to put down my phone and try to make other arrangements so I don't have to be engaged in work, even if I have to return emails. But maybe I do that at a specified time during the day that everyone knows when that is. So, hey, guys, I'm going to go work for an hour, but I'll be back. But I think taking some vacations and having some things that I'm looking forward to, that my family's looking forward to, even if just a day or 2 days or whatever, maybe once a quarter or something like that, to me, that really helps.
I remember when we were in Louisville, Jimmy was student pastor and I was pastor, and there was a country club of Wildwood we'd always go to.
Yeah.
And, man, a pit stop for me was, we'd meet over there at lunch, have that cheeseburger, play 9 holes of golf, and then
back to work.
I
know, that was great. And plus, we don't play very well, so we play fast.
I know, we could play 9 holes in about an hour and 15 minutes. It was no problem at all. But tell me, you're very strategic too, I know, with the kids. You retreat by yourself and with Kristen. But also, when you take some pit stops and you do, because you have 8 kids, you spend individual time with each of those, and then sometimes you have just a guy's trip, and you are very strategic in that. Explain that so guys can be more proactive instead of reactive.
Well, a couple of things. We just have some set things depending on how old they are. So like when our kids are about the 5th grade, we usually do a man trip or a girl trip. My wife does the girl trip part.
Right.
But we go through like Passport to Purity, that's family life material. And we take, depending on how much money we have at the time and our ability to do it, we might take a little trip, stay in a hotel and do something fun, but go through that stuff. And then also when they turn 13, we try to take them on a little trip just by themselves, something that they would really like to do. And those things just create incredible memories. And then we try to make a big deal out of birthdays and anniversaries and Christmas and Easter and things like that. So we try to have special meals. It's not always anything really expensive. It's just my wife does a really good job. And I just think spending that time together on a regular basis is really important.
Right. We've talked before, getting away with your wife or kids, but sometimes you just need to get by yourself.
Need a little me time.
Yeah, a little your own time. And I know you take drives by
I do.
You have the blessing of an intercoastal waterway and an ocean you can drive by. But also, I know there's one time I talked to you, and you're a friend of yours let you borrow his lake house, and you went by there to be yourself. You just go out in the lake and sit.
That's true. I took the boat. I used to love to do it. I get on the boat and I go out to the middle of the lake and I just turn the boat off, and then I just lay there. For hours. And sometimes I'd read a book. Sometimes I'd do nothing. Fall asleep. And I don't know why, but being out in the middle of the lake with nobody, I can't hear anything. I'm just out there. I don't know. It just made me feel so restful.
What's funny is like 20 years ago, we'd been laughing at that guy.
I think he's gone off the deep end.
That guy needs a counselor.
Probably I do.
So,
I actually have a counselor now. That helps too.
Well, it's funny. I think as you mature and you get older, you just see, you think you're invincible. I think sometimes you don't need that.
Maybe.
And you just don't refuel, and therefore eventually you do run out. So.
Kevin, I think when life punches you in the nose, sometimes maybe it's a mistake that I've made or partially my fault, but a lot of times things just happen. Things happen with my kids or my marriage or my church or just life, my health, whatever. Life just punches you in the nose, and when it does, you just realize you're not as bulletproof or I realize I'm
Right.
not as bulletproof as I like to think that I am.
Yeah.
And it just changes my perspective. And just times when God lets me realize I'm not really in any control at all of a certain set of circumstances, it just makes me realize I need to take more time to do the kind of things that you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, listen, Pastor, it's so important to take those pit stops. And the longevity and finishing well is what's really important.
Thanks for joining us for Quick Takes with Kevin. Each week, Kevin will visit with pastors and leaders as they talk about the challenges they face and the lessons they've learned in balancing faith, family, and ministry. Thank you for being with us.